This is a town with a heritage of quality craftsmanship, where raw stock becomes a thing of beauty. It's about the details, the grind, and the polish, the pride, and the passion. It's a work of art, where the traditions of the past meet the technology of the future. This is a town that understands hard work and sacrifice.
Checkered flag is up. Christopher Bell wins at Atlanta.
They don't give trophies here. They give a piece of themselves, a piece of their past. This is Martinsville.
It's no April Fools. This is an absolutely splendid day at the racetrack. 23 years of racing in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. We've come to Martinsville every year. This is the 37th time we'll race the trucks on the paperclip. 250 laps about to take place here at Martinsville. The third race of the season. Michael Waltrip, Kevin Harvick, I'm Vince Welch. We'll handle it upstairs down on pit road. Hermie Sadler and Caitlin Vincey. We'll start with Caitlin.
Well, Vince, we have a new face with us this weekend in the Truck Series, and that would be Justin Haley. He will be in this 24 truck for GMS Racing for the remainder of the 2017 season. Now, I had a chance to talk with his crew chief, Kevin Bellicourt. He said they're actually not new to each other, though. Back in 2015, they were teammates in the NASCAR Canon Pro Series East. So he said, this is not a fresh start for us. We are used to each other, but problems already for this team in qualifying. They had a right rear tire go flat. Did not know what caused it, but they will have to start at the rear of the field. Kevin, the crew chief, telling me we're going to have to get a little bit creative on strategy so that we can make up track position as this race goes along. Hermie?
Caitlin, KBM rookie last year, Christopher Bell advanced to the Final Four for a place in the championship battle. They're hoping for the same fate this year for rookie Noah Gragson. To do that, he'll have to rebound from a shaky start to the season. 26th at Daytona, 14th at Atlanta. They want him to come into this race weekend, have a good, solid weekend, and get his confidence going and continue to fight for a championship. Let's go to the command.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command to fire the engines, please welcome our Grand Marshal, Safelite Auto Glass Operations Manager, Joey Callahan.
Race fans, welcome to Martinsville. I need you to all do me a favor. Let's stand up and help me show NASCAR the best fans are in Martinsville. Drivers, start your engine!
That high energy command fitting for the intensity we're going to see today as we get ready to roll for 250 laps of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. We talk so much about the uniqueness of this track. Mike, let's take a look at our Camping World track description.
And I love when we read these stats off. It seems benign, not much to it. You know, the straightaways are the same length, the straights are flat, and the turns have 12 degrees. You'd think it seems easy enough, but wow, this half-mile drive is as tough as anywhere on the NASCAR circuit.
And how do you analyze what we're going to see here today?
Well, I think as you look at this particular racetrack, it has a lot to it. We have 250 laps, 131.5 miles, 3 stages. I think that's going to be a key of conversation today. And this is our 37th race at Martinsville. Kyle Busch won our last race here.
He won't be winning today, will he?
No.
Or analyze. How would you analyze?
I would analyze it, Vince, as a track that looks simple but certainly isn't. And to get the job done here, you got to be very technical. I've got big feet. I was never very good here. I think just preciseness downstairs with the feet is important here.
Well, and I think when you look at this racetrack, it looks identical, Mikey. And when you drive it, these two ends are totally different.
Looking at our starting lineups. Ross Chastain with a great qualifying effort today rolls off 5th. Harrison Burton, just 16 years old. Terrific lineup.
Grant Enfinger with a great qualifying run. Kaz Grala, our Daytona winner. He comes to Martinsville with a lot of high hopes.
Austin Cindric and Kyle Donahue there. Brett Moffitt and Ty Dillon. That'll be interesting to see if Ty can make it up towards the front a little further. And our Friesen, we like Friesen.
Stewart will be charging in that 52 truck.
There's Joe Nemechek's run here a lot of times in the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series as well. Caitlin reported on Justin Haley having to go to the rear with that tire change.
Cody Coughlin's got a good truck. He's got a long way to battle, though, from the back.
32 trucks will roll for 250 laps. A lot of great angles. We'll show you the race, including some onboard cameras. This is the 13, the Jegs onboard, driven by Cody Coughlin. That's the bumper cam. So we're going to see this race from a unique perspective. Cody's bumper. We'll see how long it takes to get a little damage done to the front of that camera.
I got over under about 10 laps on that one, Vince. Let's hop on board in the 29 truck of the Cooper Standard Ford of Chase Briscoe. Man, Kevin, we were talking in break. I can't wait to watch this kid race this year. He dominated the ARCA Series last year. Can he do the same in the trucks this year?
Harrison Burton starts 7th. Mitch and Nim, just 16 years old, the son of NASCAR star Jeff Burton. And a lot of success throughout the course of his career, of course, and Harrison is showing that he is an apple that has not fallen far from the tree. Very talented young driver with that Toyota on board today.
And we've got cameras all over this field. We talked about Coughlin in the back. We've got one on the front row. Johnny Sauter's up front. One here when we were here last fall. That sent him to a chance, and he did win the championship in 2016. Let's hop on board and see if we can ask Johnny a question. Hey, Johnny Sauter, it's Michael Waltrip up in the Fox NASCAR booth. You copy?
10-4, Mike. How's it going?
Man, it's going great. It was so fun to watch you dice your way through traffic and win this race a year ago. What's it going to take for you to do the same thing today?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of variables involved in all that, but our Legion Travel Chevy was really good yesterday. Obviously, the tire is a little bit different this week, and the speeds are a little bit slower. So, having said that, you know, this is the same old attrition deal. You got to be there at the end with the fenders on it and the brakes still on it. So, just have to see how it all plays out. But, you know, a little bit of luck involved, but I'm sure we'll execute like we need to and try to give good feedback, and we'll be in good shape.
Hey, Johnny, this is Kevin Harvick. I just have been on the racetrack, and there's a lot of rubber on the racetrack. How much are you anticipating that you'll have to work on this truck today? I know you hope it's perfect, but in the real world, how much do you think you're going to have to work on it throughout the day?
To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if we have to work on it pretty hard. The racetrack definitely took more rubber today than what we saw yesterday. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we're slinging rubbers and making big adjustments, but we're going to find out here momentarily.
All right, man. Have a good day. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, guys.
The trucks are rolling. Let's go downstairs one last time for last-minute updates with Hermie Sadler.
Well, Vince, Junior Joyner is the crew chief for Matt Crafton. You guys have won a couple of these clocks. The difference is today, there's also points up for grabs at lap 70 and lap 140. Will that change the way you, as a crew chief, approach this race?
Yeah, we just come here to win all the segments and win the race. Anything else than that's a failure, I think. So we're going to give her hell, and I think we've got a good Menards Tundra, and everybody's worked really hard back at the shop. Here, we got the right guy behind the wheel, so we'll see what we can do.
It's Junior Joyner. He's the crew chief for Matt Crafton. Caitlin?
Well, Hermie, another thing these crew chiefs will have to keep an eye on, that 5-minute repair clock. First time we've seen it here at Martinsville, a track known for beating and banging. Repairs likely to happen for these teams. So a lot of them in practice tested out how long it would take their truck to roll down pit road to get to their pit stop. Some of them taking almost a minute, so you're already down to just 4 minutes to repair. So the crew chiefs reminding their teams to be as efficient as possible on pit road. Guys?
A lot of activity down there, that's for sure. We've seen so many races take a turn by a team having a problem on pit road, much less having to repair some of the vehicles that are bound to come in contact with one another here during the course of 250 laps. We've had 4 trucks have to go to the rear of the field. Justin Haley in that 24, as Caitlin mentioned earlier, because of the tire change. Also the 1 of Bryce Napier, the 50 of Travis Quapple, and the 83 of Donnie Levister for adjustments after qualifying. Let's take a look at how a team can help their driver with the Liberty Mutual Worry Less strategy. Spotters, how much can they help the guys bringing their trucks to pit road today?
It's going to help you a lot, because as soon as they throw the green flag, everybody's going to want to be on the bottom of the racetrack. So you're going to clear them with a couple inches on each side to try to get them down. The second thing that it'll help them do is get around the pit road, because you want to have your pit road speed right where it needs to be. But the corners are a little bit faster than the straightaways with your pit road speed, so you have to be able to look at your tack and look up, and the spotter's going to guide you, especially into some of these pit boxes that are in the corner, so that you won't be able to see your pit sign, and that will help you a ton.
And you can see right there, that's the commitment line. You have to have at least your left side tires on that orange square so you can be committed to come to pit road. You miss that square and come to pit road, it's an infraction, you go to the rear. The spotters are going to be key today, because I'm telling you guys, when Kevin said they're all going to try to get to the bottom in turn 1, I know that's what's going to happen. And if you're back 10th, 12th, 16th, there's going to be like a chain reaction getting down into the corner. You're going to have to stand on those brakes to keep from hitting the guy in front of you. Inevitably, we see someone mess that up on the start. Your spotter has to be warning your young driver right now. We have kids that are 16, 17 years old out there. You got to say, okay, let's take it easy down into turn 1 and not get in trouble before we even get going.
And I think Johnny Sauter said it the best. You have to keep the brakes on it, but at the beginning here, you need to concentrate on keeping the radiator in it. I didn't do a very good job of that last week in California and didn't even make it to lap 1, so don't smash the nose on the start.
Get a good look at that 4 truck. That belongs to Christopher Bell. He's our series points leader after winning last time out at Atlanta.
Thank you guys for preparing another super fast truck here. I'm going to do my best to do my job, just like you guys have done to do yours. Thank you. It's an honor to drive for you guys.
Drives for Kyle Busch Motorsports, and you see here at Martinsville, there's been a lot of success by KBM.
1 to go, and the heart rates are starting to elevate. These drivers know it's important to get a great start, get to the bottom, but mainly keep the radiator in it, like you said, Kevin.
Yeah, there's a lot of intensity. You know, you know that this is going to be an action-packed race, and you want to do all those things, but you also want to make up as much ground as you can, as quick as you can, because you know stage 1 is only 70 laps.
As Kevin mentioned, watch for everybody trying to get to the bottom. Those guys on the bottom are going to want to protect that lane. Those on top are going to want to try to get down there somehow, some way.
And we're going to see contact. We might not see a caution, but there will be contact in that battle for the bottom of the road.
Our pole winner, Chase Elliott, starts on the outside. His teammate Johnny Sauter on the inside. Green at Martinsville. Matt Crafton coming around the outside, trying to get second.
Look at Crafton trying to hang on the outside. Got a good run off turn 4. I think he's going to be able to clear Chase Elliott.
Yeah, you saw him put his door right against that right front tire, and it didn't allow the 21 truck to come up, and it got him loose coming up off the corner. So you want to be as close as you can to not let that guy have any more room than he needs on the bottom lane.
That 21 is Johnny Sauter. Chase Elliott is leading this race. The 66 truck there, that's Ross Chastain. What a great qualifying run for this team. He's found his way to the bottom of the track, but they're battling for that space behind them.
There's Ty Dillon in the 99 on the outside. Meanwhile, Johnny Sauter comes back on the inside looking at Matt Crafton for second place. And a caution is out. And some contact down into turn 1 by the 1 truck of Bryce Napier. Early stages for the trucks at Martinsville. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series racing on Fox is sponsored by Camping World, your one-stop shop for all your RV and camping needs. Visit a Camping World Supercenter today. And by Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 40 straight years. Welcome back to Martinsville, Virginia. Under caution because of some contact, the wall of Bryce Napier in turn 1. Chase Elliott is our leader. Let's listen to this radio.
They've got the start replay in here. We were borderline pulling down, changing lanes too early there. Yeah, I thought so. That was my fault, but I don't mind to do it again if he wants to.
Oh, he's going to want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Explain what Chase is talking about and pulling down too soon.
Well, you have two teammates on the front row, so they want to work with each other the best they can. So Chase took the outside, his teammate let him in, and technically you want to be 1-2. But the other rule is you can't change lanes before the start-finish line. So, you know, that's probably as borderline as it gets, and they probably gave him a warning, and now he knows. And sometimes as a driver, you get so excited about what's going on, you forget what's going on.
Yeah, that start was choreographed, but it wasn't a very good dance.
And you know all about that.
Yeah,
right?
I can
Dancing with the Stars history. Get ready for the restart. Same alignment as the start of the race with Elliott outside and Sauter inside. Green is out.
Good sky back, clear. Watching the look good inside, clear low, clear low, clear low.
And that looked much cleaner with the 23 of Chase Elliott taking the high lane, getting the lead, and hopefully Sauter will wind up in second, and that's how it worked out.
And Matt Crafton knows what's going on, and he thought about going 3 wide there, and I guarantee you he will later in the race if that happens like that again.
Christopher Bell slips in to 3rd place with Crafton right behind him, and they're on the outside. Chase Briscoe, last year's ARCA champion, kind of stuck on the outside trying to get down low.
Now they're going to be 3 wide for a bit. Can they squeeze through there?
Oh, maybe a little bit of contact between the 88 and 29. On board with Briscoe, and there's Matt Crafton right next to him, not an inch to spare.
Good strong run up off turn 2 by the 29 of Briscoe, able to hang side by side with Crafton.
And Michael, I'm really excited about how this outside line is looking so far. I think there's a lot of rubber on the racetrack, and oh man, I thought the 29 was going to get turned around right there. He squeezed in that hole, and the 17 came in there pretty hard.
Well, when you see a squeeze play this early in the race, sometimes you catch a break. As these laps click off, we talk about how fast things here happen at Martinsville. You can bet those gaps will be taken away later.
Slow down, stay high.
That's the 13 of Cody Coughlin around, along with the 87 of Joe Nemechek. Now, Coughlin is one of those we were talking about. He has the bumper cam, so we ought to have a good view of what happens on this one.
I should have added that when you're back in the pack, you don't get as many breaks because you know how hard it is to pass and how desperate you are to gain track position because those leaders are coming up from behind to put you a lap down.
Take a look at it from Cody Coughlin's perspective.
Still there. Bottom of 3, bottom of 2, 58. Stay low. Hold the brake, hold the brake, hold the brake.
Yeah, and he just got his angle bad there, and he probably might have just clipped the curb and it went straight up the racetrack. It takes one hop, goes up the track, and it hits who's ever next to you, and that happened to be Joe Nemechek.
You got to appreciate his spirit, but you also got to be under control. When we got down into turn 3, that low on the entry, he just couldn't make the corner and ran into Nemechek, and you can see some pretty good damage there on the 13 truck of Coughlin. They might have to address that. This truck was falling back early in the race, and they're coming in for a tire change. I imagine maybe could they have possibly had a flat. It just didn't look sanitary for him at the start, sliding sideways, and now already coming to pit road.
He was 9th at the time when he came to pit road.
Well, I think as you look at qualifying, everybody ran a lot of laps. Today was one of the first times in a while, or maybe the first time for the trucks, that we had 3 stages of qualifying, or 3 rounds of qualifying. So there was a lot of laps on those tires, and the racetrack is different. So maybe his truck just wasn't handling like it needed to be.
Well, Cody Coughlin qualified 27th, and he knew he was going to have to try and make his way through the field quickly, making some aggressive moves already. Here's what he said on the radio.
Yeah, it's kind of aggressive move, but it was fine. You need to be doing that early in the race. You caught the curve, all good. No issues, bud.
And that's what you want to hear. That's your head coach telling you, yeah, you held him, but it's, you know, it was worth a chance. You know, you make a mistake if you're on the court or out on the field, you're gonna mess up. You certainly need encouragement from your spotter, from your crew chief, telling the driver that the team is behind you. Keep charging, buddy. That's what they want him to do.
Yeah, and that 49 truck that he goes by was way off the pace, and he was beside the 87 and had to make a decision. And that curve it never seems to be very forgiving, and it never seems to move either, Michael. And it just hops you up one lane, and every year you come back, you hit it at least once or twice, maybe 3 or 4 times. It just depends on how your day's going.
It doesn't move, but then sometimes it seems like it reaches out and grabs you.
Oh,
it does.
See that crew member fall down there as the truck took off? Oh, and he's got a a wrench in the back there.
Well, that's a wrench, yes.
This is just started bad and has gotten worse.
We talked about the significance of pit road, and this is not the way you want to execute it here with the 13 of Cody Coughlin after that contact and the accident with Joe Nemechek.
You can see this crew member, he loses it, trying to make that adjustment.
Back to green at Martinsville. 17 laps into the first stage of 70. 70 laps in stage 1. This is lap 17. Chase Elliott continues to lead. Matt Crafton on the outside in second. Johnny Sauter just inside of him in that 21, digging hard.
Matt Crafton does a great job, grabs that spot away from the 21 of Sauter, and it looks like Timothy Peters, local racer, just up the road here, and he's got a great truck here today. He's won here before, has Peters. Anytime you can win at your home track, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And I tell you, Crafton is on to this teammate game, and he's putting a lot of pressure on those guys and got that spot from him this time. So they might have to rethink their strategy or be a little more aggressive with it.
Good look at Hunter Nemechek in that 8 truck. Nemechek running 8th. In the 2 races here last year, he was 2nd and 3rd. There's a knack about getting around this place, and right now he's got Ty Dillon on his bumper.
And you see how important the bottom line is. You saw John Hunter go to block right there because he thought he made a mistake in the corner before, and he thought he needed to block that position because he thought he was probably faster than the guy behind him. But I got news for him. 99 is probably going to keep sending those messages on that rear bumper, and you only get 2 or 3 usually.
Well, you know, you can block, that's fine. Just remember, when you block, you're opening yourself up to get hit. I mean, that's how you keep somebody from blocking. You just punt them when you get to the corner, and we'll see that today.
So you're saying you bump them 2 or 3 times, and that's about all the patience you got with them, and then it's time to move them along?
Usually you only get 2. Usually the third one is the end of the message, and it's been delivered.
Matt Crafton in that 88 running second, Hermie.
No surprise, Vince, to see the 88 up front. He has 2 wins at this racetrack, but this is not the truck that he won those 2 races with. That truck is actually being driven by his teammate, Grant Enfinger. They brought this truck to this racetrack last year, had a good truck, but had brake issues the entire race. They felt like if they could get those issues fixed, they'd have a shot to go to victory lane. And right now, he is trying to break up the GMS racing party up front.
Hearing from one of the veterans, Matt Crafton. Now let's talk about one of the rookies, Chase Briscoe. His crew chief, Mike Hillman Jr., told me that they came and tested here at Martinsville, said in about half a day, he got up to speed. He learns very quickly. But Mike said, I love working with some of these younger drivers that have raw talent, that listen and want to get better. It makes a huge difference. And he's also really listening to his spotter, TJ Majors, who spots for Dale Jr. in the Cup Series. TJ helping guide Chase Briscoe around this track, guys.
Well, Chase Briscoe, no stranger to success, was the ARCA champion a year ago, won 6 times en route to that title. Opened up the season with a 3rd place finish at Daytona. Had a rough time at Atlanta, ended up 25th. Good battle here with Friesen on the outside and the young teenager Noah Grigson inside of that 18 truck for Kyle Busch.
He's going to try to bring along Harrison Burton with him. Burton to the inside of Friesen as well. Stuart Friesen's making it work fairly well up on top. It took a lap or 2 for him to lose the position of Grigson, and now Burton will come calling.
And I think as you look at Burton there, I think he saw an opportunity to get underneath Friesen there and wasn't able to capitalize it by not being close enough. So, you know, when you see one guy passing another guy, you want to try to close that gap as fast as you can so you can capitalize on that guy being in the outside lane. But Friesen did a good job of getting back down as soon as he could.
There's our leader, Chase Elliott. He's already caught Cody Coughlin, who had the pass-through penalty to get the wrench out of the back of the truck. And this has been a good battle. Austin Cindric trying to hold on against Justin Haley, but wow, that's close.
Remember, Haley in that 24 truck had to start at the rear of the field. We talked about the fact they had a flat tire during qualifying, so had to put a new tire on, and that sent him to the rear to start this race today. So he's up now fighting with Cindric for 18th place. Up through about half the field already.
Ryan Truex is going to try to do what Kevin spoke of, and that's fill the hole opened up by Haley, but just can't quite get there. Cindric's going to cut down, but it looks like the chrome horn there, the bumper to the back of the 19.
Well, I think a lot of these guys are seeing how aggressive Cindric is being with how tight he's holding him in the corner and how aggressive he's being getting back into the holes. And you can see that they're not afraid to use the bumper because they see that it's going to be a hard pass, and they definitely have used him up.
Those fresh tires are working for Chastain. He's rebounding into the top 20 as Chase Elliott continues to lead.
Action on the track and in the pits at Martinsville. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series racing on Fox is sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places. Race number 3 of the season here at Martinsville. It's been a battle just about everywhere on the track because there is nowhere to hide as you watch Christopher Bell and Timothy Peters mix it up for 4th.
This is such a great place to watch a race. These guys, you can just see it developing. Hound a guy, 6, 8, 10 laps. Next thing you know, it's a slight bump. And the next thing you know, it's a big hit into the back of the other truck.
On board with the 29 of Chase Briscoe.
Grant Enfinger up ahead. Solid run for these guys. Briscoe's truck looks to be coming on the more laps we put on the tires.
I turned the TV on yesterday, Michael, to catch up on practice, and the first thing I saw was Briscoe just driving in the corner and the back wheels hopping. I love the aggression and the enthusiasm that he has. He's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of accolades to go along with his experience from the things that he has done in his career so far. He's going to be fun to watch grow.
Good to have a crew chief like Mike Hillman Jr. working alongside of Chase Briscoe, a veteran along with the rookie.
This is a place where patience is key, isn't it, Kevin? I mean, you can overdrive your truck and not be able to give good feedback to your crew chief because you're just simply not letting the truck have a chance to stick in the corners.
Yeah, and you're seeing a lot of guys move around right now, but the most grip is about 2 inches from that curb with the left front tire and the splitter hanging over the top of that curb. That curb is angled, and you can put that splitter right on it. It'll kind of tow you around that corner if you can get it just right. But if you start moving up the racetrack, which you're going to have to get through lap traffic, and I've seen some of them go up and diamond it early to get a good run off the corner, but the fast way around is right next to that curb.
You're talking 2 inches away from a curb and hook your splitter. That's precision driving. And we're talking about doing this, entering the corner at 120 miles an hour. It's a day's work to get around this track here in Martinsville.
And I tell you what, Ty Dillon has made up some serious ground here in that 99 truck. He's driving up through the field, and he's looking like he's got a pretty good handling truck. Obviously, coming out of that Cup car is obviously giving him some experience on this rubbered up racetrack and sliding around and some options. But you can see that groove is really starting to get black.
Shane Huffman, their crew chief, said earlier today, said, I think we've got something to work with today. Pretty sporty, maybe going to be a contender.
Started back in the 16th position, is driven inside the top 10. Closed in on Briscoe there a lap or two ago, but lost some ground. Our lead's beginning to tighten up front. Chase Elliott dealing with some lap traffic. That's the 75 of Caleb Holman. He's trying to work his way around. And you can see there's Sauter right behind him.
Yeah, so that lap traffic holding up the leader, and that Sauter loves to see that, right?
And sometimes as the leader, the lap traffic is harder to get around than it is for the second place guy, because the guy that's going a lap down wants to stay on the lead lap and do everything that he can. But once the leader goes by, it's like, all right, I give up. Now I just need to find a spot and not tear myself up and fix my truck at the caution.
And a lot of times a truck that's good for 30 or 40 laps won't be good for 70 or 80. You'll get the best of the tires. The thing will start to slip and slide and fall back. Sauter might have a better long run truck. It'll be interesting to see if when they're not dealing with lap traffic, if Johnny continues to close.
And Johnny Sauter is just good here. He is so good at Martinsville Speedway. He's been good in everybody's truck he's ever driven here. He's won on every short track that you can imagine growing up, and he's just that good on these types of racetracks. So he knows what he wants in his truck. He's going to put that thing right against the curb, and he knows exactly what to do, and you see him right on the bumper of Chase Elliott now.
Sauter won this race here last October. He had to beat that man right there in front of him, Chase Elliott, to the line to do it. Elliott led 109 laps in that race in October, but it was actually Sauter that won the race. I know Elliott would like nothing more than to reverse the fortunes today.
That's the 87 truck of Joe Nemechek. His son, John Hunter Nemechek, runs in the 10th position. Joe's going to go a lap down here. He's running back in 24th. As the lead duo get to the inside of Joe. The next truck they'll be looking at is Brandon Brown in the 44 truck. You can see him up there in the white truck. Kevin, he's got 680 Twitter handles on the back of his truck for people that are trying to support him and help him in that 44 team get just to the races so he can run. He had a solid qualifying effort, and now he's running along in the 23rd spot, still on the lead lap.
And that's what I love about this series is the effort that people put in to get into the racetrack and the support, even though it's, you say, well, it's only 680 followers, but I tell you what, all 680 of those followers love that guy and they love that truck and they want to be a part of it, and it's cool to see that he showed that support and put him on the deck there.
Well, that's the heart, that's the desire, just to get to the racetrack. And he knows if he can get here and have practices and qualify as well as he did here in Martinsville, that might lead to more Twitter followers or more sponsorship on the side of the 44 truck.
Everybody has to have an opportunity, and where that opportunity and where that break comes from, you never know, and today could be that day.
You can see Chase Elliott, he flared out wide getting into turn one. He sees Sauter right on him, trying to mix the line up.
52 laps into it, Chase Elliott has led them all at Martinsville. Late stages of stage one for the Truck Series at Martinsville. Stage one lasts 70 laps. We've got 10 to go. There's your leader, the 23 of Chase Elliott. His teammate, the 21 of Johnny Sauter, right behind him. Kevin, you used to own a team. What's it like when your two drivers are running bumper to bumper at the front?
Well, you always want to run as well as you can, but when you're at a place like this and they're both battling for the lead and they're literally nose to tail, there's nothing more stressful than that, because the slight contact causes a huge situation on Monday.
You got to sort that out at the meeting.
Here comes the 21 of Johnny Sauter. There's a playoff point involved here, boys. You got to grab what you can get, and that's what Johnny Sauter's looking at.
Let's check in downstairs with Hermie.
Two things on the leader, Chase Elliott. He reported to his crew chief, Joey Cohen, about 3 laps ago that he was getting tight through the center. The truck would not rotate, also making him too free late exit. And just what Michael said, crew chief also relayed to him, do not be surprised if the 21 of Johnny Sauter pushes really hard these final 8 laps for a stage win. We'll see how it plays out.
I want it. You're going to keep that point through the playoffs. You have to go after it. Even if you got to maybe bump your teammate here a little bit. That's part of racing at Martinsville. That could happen.
Yeah, and the playoff point is just so valuable, and you have to try to gain everything that you can, because you never know at any point in the year when you're going to go through the bad luck and the slump and the things that happen, and you want to gain them every chance you get.
You earn that playoff point by winning the stage, and that point goes with you throughout the entire rest of the season and through the playoffs, leading right up to that last race of the season at Homestead. So ultra valuable for those drivers that are running for the championship. Johnny Sauter is running for the championship. Chase Elliott, that driver leading the race, he's not. He's running for the Cup championship. So that 1 point really means something more to Sauter.
And those two trucks have broken away. They've got nearly a half a straightaway on 3rd place running Matt Crafton. So that gap has grown as those two GMS trucks have driven away from the field.
Less than 5 to go here in stage one.
Another battle there inside the top 10. Chase Briscoe around Timothy Peters. Put Briscoe up to the 6th spot.
They've been trading messages off the front and back bumpers from the 29 and the 17 and the 99, but they're doing what it's all about here at Martinsville and racing hard, trying to get the most they can towards the end of this stage.
Just 3 laps to go. The battle couldn't be any closer for this stage win between Chase Elliott and Johnny Sauter. Johnny's going to say, man, I need a break here. And if you're not going to give it to me, I'm probably going to have to create one. Oh! Chase didn't realize the slower car of Levister was up there. Truck, excuse me.
Coming to 1 to go in stage one. Chase Elliott, the leader, that blue 23. Johnny Sauter, his teammate right behind him in the 21 truck. Elliott, the 23, Sauter in the 21.
Johnny just can't get there.
And the first stage is complete. Chase Elliott, the winner. Who else gets points for a top 10 finish in stage 1. We'll let you know when we return. Here's how the top 10 shakes out in stage 1. Chase Elliott doesn't get points because he's not championship eligible. Nor is Ty Dillon, as they both run, obviously, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. But Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton, Christopher Bell, Grant Enfinger, Chase Briscoe, Timothy Peters, Noah Gragson, John Hunter Nemechek, all very pleased to add some points to their season total. Trucks getting ready to come to pit road. Find out what kind of adjustments are on hand. Let's begin with Caitlin.
Well, taking a look at the 29 truck of Chase Briscoe, he's telling his team, I'm still tight through the center. I'm having to wait on it to turn. So the plan for them is 4 tires, fuel, and an air pressure adjustment for the 29. Also, the 98 truck of Grant Enfinger, he's making his second start here at Martinsville. He's been telling his team, most of my issue is on the exit. They're going to go for 4 tires, fuel, track bar adjustment, and air pressure adjustment as well for the 98. Hermie.
The 21 of Johnny Sauter is too tight through the center. 4 tires and fuel. It'll be an air pressure adjustment only. Also the 23 of Chase Elliott. He's using his NASCAR Cup Series pit crew to change the tires. He is too tight as well. 4 tires, fuel, and a track bar adjustment. He's down and away, but the 4 of Christopher Bell is first off pit road.
Big move for Bell, but he takes just 2 tires. What kind of gamble you see that being, Kevin?
Well, I think as you look at the shortness of the next stage, I think you have the opportunity to try to take that strategy and see how it works out without having too much of a penalty and have it be a whole run, 110 laps there at the end. So I think we'd have to go back and look there, but it looked like Chase Elliott checked up a little bit right there to make sure that he was on the inside lane. So we'll have to go back and look at that camera angle.
Want to ask him?
Have at it, Mike.
Hey, Chase Elliott, it's Michael Waltrip up in the Fox NASCAR booth. Do you copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, your teammate was heating you up at the end of that stage, but you got the checkered. Looked like you stumbled a little bit coming off pit road. You're going to line up 3rd. You feel good about that?
We'd always rather be first, but yeah, I think it's fine. Obviously, a long ways to go. Happy to have the Allegiant Chevy up front so far. Like I say, I think we need to be a little bit better here later in the runs, and hopefully guys made some good adjustments there to do that.
Well, it's been fun to watch. Have a good time, buddy. We'll check in later.
All right, thanks.
When we come back, stage 2 rolls at Martinsville. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series racing on Fox is sponsored by Progressive. Drivers who switch to Progressive can save an average of $620. Back at Martinsville, the 4 of Christopher Bell goes to the lead with a 2-tire change instead of 4, Hermie.
First bit of pit strategy to get track position. 2 right side tires only for the 4. He did mention a lot of rubber buildup on the racetrack, especially in turns 1 and 2, Vince.
Austin Cindric and Joe Nemechek get the wave around to the lead lap. Stage 2 underway and green. Christopher Bell on the inside. Johnny Sauter outside. Wow, 3 wide coming down the straightaway.
Be interesting to see if Johnny Sauter can get over in front of Chase Elliott. He's battling for the lead. Now he's not thinking about getting over. He wants to go against those 2 tires on Christopher Bell's truck and grab the lead, does Sauter. Look at that strong run off turn 4.
And that's going to be the one struggle of 2 tires, is getting the buildup off the left side tires in order to get your truck to turn like the 21 is able to. And you see Johnny lean right against that right front tire, and that's what you want to do to be able to finish that pass.
How far do you push it, Kevin? How far do you hold it over to the left, hoping you can squeeze that guy down, but knowing he could wreck you both?
Well, I think as the outside guy, you want to be as aggressive as you can, because you know if you don't get it done in a certain amount of time, you're going to probably stack those guys up and get passed by more than one. So you see the advantage that those 4 sticker tires gave you right off the bat. And you got to remember, Christopher Bell's tires also have all of qualifying on them too. So if he's able to make any ground right here, this is going to change the strategy for the rest of the race.
Aggressive move as Ty Dillon trying to work his way up into the top 5. Currently sits 6th. Caitlin?
Yeah, Vince, he made up some ground after that last pit stop, something that's helping him. He actually has Austin Dillon, his Cup pit crew, pitting that 99 truck for him, but they made a track bar adjustment, went ahead and put 4 tires on. He was just a little bit free off. They're hoping that adjustment will help him this time around, guys.
Let's look back at the restart. here to, they all stack up.
I think that's just the Ford's choice. Christopher Bell decided he'd bring them down at a really slow pace, and people weren't ready for that.
Everybody tries to anticipate that restart, and as they get closer and closer to the end of that restart zone, they're like, he's got to go, he's got to go, he's got to go. And next thing you know, everybody's thinking he's going to go running into the guy in front of him, and you have some guys rear-ending each other.
You know, this is a great truck race. We see strategy here for Rudy Fugle, putting the Ford truck, up into the second position. He's getting hounded by Chase Elliott. But those Cup crew chiefs that are going to be racing here tomorrow, they're watching closely what Rudy Fugle's decision on that Ford truck, how that works out for him getting those 2 tires.
And so is this Cup driver up here calling this race, because I'm pretty impressed so far. And if you can gain that track position by just strategy, that's a whole lot easier than trying to get it on the racetrack. It's way easier to get it on pit road.
Yeah, Christopher Bell pitted from 4th position, came out with the lead, taking those 2 tires, and now sits second with Johnny Sauter out front.
And you know, the fact that he was running 4th, Vince, that makes that even a bigger gamble, because they didn't have much to gain, but if it didn't work, they had a whole lot to lose. So great call by Fugle and great driving by Christopher Bell to keep that track position. He's holding off Chase Elliott now.
And that's one thing I'm surprised about a little bit, is Chase hasn't made up more ground on the Ford truck and been able to get by him.
The 66 of Ross Chastain. Right there behind Chastain is the 16 of Ryan Truex, the brother of Cup star Martin Truex Jr.
See Brandon Brown get loose there off turn 2, and Chastain in that South Carolina truck. Oh, he's going to get spun there by Truex.
Spin it behind you. Caution there. Fired up, get rolling.
So Brandon Brown goes around. Was 22nd. 1 lap down. Looked like be a significant amount of damage. They'll recoup, and we'll reset, and we'll restart when we come back. Stage 2 racing at Martinsville. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. We take a look at our Ford track facts. Some of those who have piloted a Ford to victory here at Martinsville.
Joey Logano a couple years ago broke a long winless streak for Ford. Chase Briscoe running up in the 4th position is the best running Ford at this point. There you see on board with Chase.
There's the 44 of Brandon Brown. That's the reason we are under caution, and here's a look at why.
Kevin, I asked you, how far do you squeeze over to the left before you've gone too far?
Yeah, that is definitely not Truex's fault there. The 44 just squeezed him down so far that he held his ground, and there was nowhere else to go. On the other side, there was the curb, and that was it. So 44 tried to squeeze in there. Brandon Brown tried to squeeze in there and wound up spinning himself out.
Truex is running along in the 17th position, so no harm, no foul for him. And like you said, there wasn't anything he could do about that. He was just right on the curb, and Brown tried to squeeze in.
Sometimes you can get away with that. You know, you can squeeze the guy and he'll slam on the brakes and let you in, and you can be that bully for a time or two. But most of the time, they stand their ground and you wind up spitting out.
Getting ready to come back to green with Christopher Bell and that Ford truck on the outside.
All good by himself. I was there. Remember how the 21 restarted you there off of 4? If you could stay side by side with him, how well he raced you off of 4 there on your first lap. What he did to make you not exit 4. See if he can do the same thing.
That's just what you were talking about, Kevin. He wants to hang down on the side of him, try to keep him squeezed down. But man, Sauter got a great run down into turn 1. It looks like Chase Elliott's going to dive in there as well.
Yeah, Bell just didn't get the launch that those guys did the time before. You see him just dive to the bottom and take that bottom away from Chase Elliott.
That was aggressive.
That was very aggressive.
Oh, is he going to? Yes, they made it. Looks like he's going to try to squeeze him up high.
Elliott rounding the top with Bell underneath as they battle for second. Bell holds on.
That's a strong move for Christopher Bell with those 2 tires. And here comes Matt Crafton. He drives around Chase Briscoe.
On the outside is the 18 of Noah Gragson, the rookie from Las Vegas.
The rookie from Las Vegas is doing a great job early in this race, guys. Solid. trying to make a pass on the high side. Got really wide there off turn 2, but look at the momentum he gained down the back.
And after his first 2 races, he definitely needed a solid day. He's done a great job so far.
And if you can get it done at this track, I believe you can get it done anywhere. This is what he's used to. He's a short track racer from Vegas. This is more in his wheelhouse, and he's proven that he can get it done. Oh, no.
Low, come on. Clear. All clear.
Just as we're talking about Noah Gragson, he gets spun.
Well, it was going well up till then.
I almost feel guilty.
Yeah, we were giving him a lot of...
like the announcer talking about what a great free throw shooter the guy is right before he steps to the line and misses 2.
I almost don't want to talk about anybody else for the rest of the day after that.
You have to. That's why you're up there.
Well, the good news is all the fenders are still on it, and he's still rolling, and he's on the lead lap, so he'll race his way back towards the front.
Yeah, that could have come out a lot worse, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Spun right in the middle of the field, and he was battling for the 5th position, and you can see he got hit by the 29 of Briscoe. Briscoe got loose on the bottom.
Yeah, he just got loose and wound up getting into the side of the 18.
Oops.
Hello
stop,
there.
stop. Coming back to Martinsville.
Switch.
Under caution at Martinsville, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. The 18 of Noah Gragson went around. Had a little help from the 29 of Chase Briscoe, and now Gragson has come onto pit road to make sure everything is tight and secure. Got 4 tires, and out he goes. Any way that this might be turned out to be a blessing for the 18 of Gragson?
Well, I think it's going to have to. I think that's what the box that they put in with having to put that set of tires on. He's going to have to stay out at the end of the stage. I shouldn't say have to. Most likely will stay out at the end of the stage. But 29 just got in there and got loose and had to chase the truck up the track and spun the 18 out. That was just unfortunate timing.
You can see the 18 slides up the track, gives 29 plenty of room, just a little bit loose.
Come on. Clear. All clear. Caution's going to be out.
We talked about earlier, when you get behind, sometimes you got to mix things up, and that's exactly what the 18 team will have to do. Strategy will be a part of their success today if they're able to pull anything off.
Yeah, right now he just wants to stay on the lead lap and try to put himself in position to be able to stay out and capitalize on hopefully a few more caution laps as we get towards the end of the stage.
Just got to be careful in the middle of the corner like that. If you're at their door numbers, you're at their mercy. CJ, you're gonna have to really be on your toes now. My left side mirror somehow got broke off. Oh, I got you, buddy. If I say be defensive, you just pull down a lane.
That's easy for him to say. Standing up in the grandstand.
There's nothing worse than not being able to see what's on your left side after you're used to it.
Pace vehicle is off, and the restart is on with Johnny Sauter inside, Christopher Bell outside.
Christopher Bell's got a good run off turn 2. He's going to clear Chase Elliott. More and more impressed every lap with those 2 tires. That call made by the team. Looks like it's going to pan out for him.
And that top groove is really getting a good launch off of turn 2 because you can keep the guy on the inside pinned down. But that backs up to the center of the corner. They're able to roll the center and get a good launch off the corner on the top for at least the first lap.
It's a 99 of Ty Dillon on the outside trying to get in on that bottom line. Battling with Chase Briscoe right there for the 5th spot. Hunter Nemechek coming up on the inside now of Dillon.
I really think if that 99 truck of Ty Dillon can ever get up there towards the top 3 or 4, I think he's got a good enough truck to run up there. He's hung on the outside right now and losing a couple spots, and that's the kind of the battle that you fight here at Martinsville. You have a good truck, when you have a restart, you make your ground up, and next thing you know, you're on the outside on a restart, and you lose 4 or 5 spots, and you got to start over.
It's Timothy Peters inside of Dillon now, and the 98 of Enfinger is taking a look.
He saw Ty Dillon, he wanted over, but there wasn't room. Enfinger fills that hole. There's Stuart Friesen racing on the inside of Brett Moffitt.
Those 2 got together just a little bit ago, so keep an eye on them. See if maybe there might be a payback in store.
Whoa, Friesen gets loose, opens up the door for Kaz Gralla on the bottom of that 33 Kiklos truck.
Now Justin Haley in the 24 comes inside. There's Moffitt giving a little bang to the back end of that 52 truck of Friesen.
If I was Friesen, I'd give Moffitt a lot of room. Does just that.
Well, Friesen, he's a modified racer, and he's not used to these trucks and having fenders and things on the side. And this is just a classic example, I think, of, like you said, Michael, looking in the mirror, trying to block the inside and then overdriving the corner and hit the truck in front of you. So Moffitt was definitely not happy and wound up repaying a couple taps to the back of that 52 truck.
And that 52 truck, this is his first start here, Vince, and he's seeing things that he never dreamed of before. A lot of action going on around Stuart Friesen.
Yeah, Friesen slipping back now to the 16th.
That's Kyle Donahue behind him. Missouri racer. See the battle for second here. Chase Elliott's beginning to heat up. Christopher Bell. What a dominating performance Bell put on our last time out.
You see Bell start to slide up in the center of the corner, and those front tires are starting to give up, and along with the rear tires as you hit the throttle, but he's starting to really diamond that corner in 3 and 4 because of the fact that it's probably sliding as you get 3/4 of the way through the corner, and that happens on this end of the racetrack where they're going right now. The front end winds up sliding up the racetrack, and you wind up spinning the rear tires on the exit. 1 and 2, you can ride right against that curb and be able to get good drive up off the corner.
Problems for John Hunter Nemechek, a 2-time runner-up.
The gauges and stuff light up, but I don't have anything with the throttle pedal.
He was running 6th at the time.
Motor is motor island or not? The motor shut off. Which boxes, whatever.
Green is still out as they
Turn in there whenever you. Here's your opening right here.
go around Nemechek.
John Hunter stays on the track. There was an opening there to turn in. He elected not to do that. Probably trying to get the truck fired.
Boy, bad break for John Hunter Nemechek. Finished 2nd and 3rd here in the 2 races last year. And finally, the caution is out. 23 laps remaining in this 2nd stage.
And as a competitor, you want to try to get your truck back to pit road, so you do everything that you can. NASCAR would have loved to have had that truck turn in that opening, but as a competitor, you want to do everything you can to get back to the garage as quick as you can.
Bumping and banging at Martinsville. It's what it's all about. We've seen plenty of it today. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series racing on Fox is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Strategy starting to unfold here at Martinsville. 2 of our top 3, Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott, they came to pit road. Why?
You can't wipe the smile off Harvick's face. He loves this right now. He knows this lineup is going to get mixed up when we have the end of this stage. Some guys betting on winning this stage, other guys betting on winning the race, and they pitted to make sure they could do so.
Stage racing has changed the game today at Martinsville.
So on this restart, it'll be Johnny Sauter inside, Matt Crafton outside, a couple of former champions. Sauter to the front, Crafton in 2nd, trying to hold off Chase Briscoe inside of Crafton, battling for 2nd place.
And there's 2 races going on here. Obviously, everybody up front wants to get the most points that they can.
Oh, and Briscoe goes around and collects Timothy Peters. Oh, who somehow kept it going.
Right, no caution, keep coming, keep coming.
Oh, wow, he got loose on the inside of Matt Crafton. Got knocked straight by another truck, and he's still running 3rd.
How did that happen?
That's awesome. That's what short track racing is all about. Timothy Peters is really asking how did that happen, Vince? And look at Grant Enfinger in the 98 truck. Jumps into the top 5.
Justin Haley poking his nose in there. Boy, he's come from the back. Started at the rear of the field. Today he's up to 7th.
Yeah, it looks like we had a little bit of tire smoke. We do have some tire smoke coming off the Briscoe truck.
That's where he got hit and knocked back in the right direction. Good news, bad news. He didn't spin out. That tire might blow. What do you think, Kevin?
We've got 5 laps. Well, we've got 15 laps to go in this stage. So I would say that that's going to probably be bad news before it's all said and done. It's in there pretty good.
Briscoe currently in the 3rd spot. with that tire rub there in the 29. He spun, and the 17 of Timothy Peters had nowhere to go. Take a look at it.
Watch Peters just bam. Not only hits Briscoe, hit him pretty hard, knocked him back in the right direction, and now he's got a tire rub because of it. Christopher Bell.
Well, Michael, I was watching this earlier, and the 23 had gotten around the 4, so I don't know how the 4 got back around the 23, but this is going to be the race for the lead after these guys pit. I believe that the 4 and the 23 and this group that pitted to stay out at the end of this stage will be the leaders. So this is the race, the second race that I was talking about before we had the contact earlier.
7 trucks stayed out, including that 4 and 23 truck. They pitted from 2nd and 3rd, and right now they're back in that 13th, 14th position, Hermie.
Yeah, Vince, interesting pit strategy for the 4. Prior to coming down pit road, remember the 4 only got 2 tires on the stop before that, so he was having to move his truck around on the racetrack, move the groove up a little bit to get a little more grip to maintain that track position. Came down pit road, last opportunity to put 4 tires. They believe they may be able to steal a point at the end of this stage, but they're more concerned about the track position, as Kevin Harvick was alluding to, that they will probably have at lap 140. We'll see how it all plays out for the 4.
And Kevin, that's the strategy. That's the play to win the race today for the 4. They think they can race back into the top 10 and get a point there, but they think that's their best way to win this race, and they're using the strategy around the stages to put themselves in the best position to win this race. I love that call.
Well, the only thing I don't like about this situation is he's being very aggressive and beating up his truck. And I think it's still a good play because of the fact that they have won a race and they didn't think they were going to win the stage and get the playoff point.
The reason the caution came out to begin with was a problem for the 8 of John Hunter Nemechek. Caitlin, what's the latest there?
Well, John Hunter was telling the team the motor spins, but it won't fire. It just pops. So he is down here in the garage area. You can see members of ECR engines underneath the hood, the interior mechanic inside the truck. They're trying to change electrical boxes, see if that can't fix the problem for John Hunter.
A tough break for John Hunter Nemechek. His shot at winning at Martinsville and collecting that grandfather clock is history today.
Ben Rhodes sliding up the track there. There you see Chase Elliott racing beside Ross Chastain. Man, there's nowhere to run or nowhere to hide at Martinsville. You're going to be battling all over the place. This is a battle right around the top 10. Elliott's trying to take that spot.
How about Christopher Bell getting up to the top 10 to that 10th position? So he's going to get one of those extra points at the end of this stage if he can keep it as Chastain goes around.
Yeah, and that was just Chase Elliott finally to the point of saying, all right, I've had enough. And he put the bumper to him and just turned him around.
Chastain was running 6th. Or excuse me, 12th.
And here's the hard part about all this. We can't show you why Chase Elliott was frustrated with the 66 here because there's so much going on. You literally can't cover everything that's going on the racetrack. But you could tell Chase Elliott was frustrated. Trust me, I've been there before.
Probably safe to say everyone out there is frustrated with someone, right?
At some point, for sure. And you can check out, Kevin, we talked about would the 29's tire rub cause an issue. So far, it looks like that tire has won the battle against the metal. Maybe clearance in itself, there wasn't a lot of smoke at the end of that run for him.
Well, and this 66 going around and bringing out the caution certainly helps the 29 of Briscoe. Those are laps that are now under caution, less stress on that left front, and maybe takes us to the end of the stage.
Well, you know, this is the interesting part. We've got, what, 4 laps to go?
See if we can see what happens here. Chase Elliott gives a bump to Chastain and then just finishes the job. Spinning him around. I'm sure Ross doesn't understand how that could have all taken place. He didn't cut Chase off. It was just a bounce into the back and then a spin.
You think we go back green here, Michael?
I hope.
We've got 3 laps left in the stage.
You get one to go.
This is going to get interesting.
Can we get one to go this time?
I don't know how much longer he needed. Either. Bad call, though. I mean, we're having to kill our tires back here. I don't think we can go the rest of the way and expect to have a shot.
Interesting thought process there about beating up the tires to try to get back toward the front.
You didn't like that either, did you? The way they were having to race back there.
I did not. I think they've torn up their truck a ton. Chase's looks pretty good, but I think the Ford truck is more beat up than it was before he was back there. And now you're going to be at the end of the stage, and you're going to have these guys that are staying out. You've already seen some people pit, and they're just getting further and further behind. So this is going to get interesting.
The 29 and 17.
Hit road's closed. Hit road's closed.
29 just gets very loose down in the corner, and he's going to spin out. Timothy Peters, nowhere to go, runs into the left front of the 29, straighten him up, and he never lost a spot.
And the 29's pretty fortunate right there that tire didn't pop.
That was just way loose. You think of maybe a little wheel hopping?
Yeah, I think if he wasn't wheel hopping, he was sliding with the back of the truck.
Come on, clear.
He was definitely sliding with the back of the truck all the way into the corner, just chasing it. And unfortunately, there was another truck there. Or fortunately, there was a truck there to save him.
Well, still under yellow here, and it looks like that's the way the stage is going to end.
And I can't be more excited, because it is going to be so mixed up when we get done with this pit stop that I don't even know that the guys up front really realize how many trucks they're going to be behind.
So the 23 and the 4, the 23 of Chase Elliott, the 4 of Christopher Bell, they gambled by taking that early break, hoping that they could stay out to the end for the win.
Bam.
NASCAR Camping World Truck Series at Martinsville Speedway. Stage 2 is complete. Johnny Sauter wins the stage, secures that one playoff point. Sauter's 3rd stage win of the season.
Big Daytona for Johnny Sauter. Now he's in Martinsville leading the race, a place he's won 3 times before.
Chase Briscoe pitting from 3rd in that 29 machine. Caitlin?
Well, it's interesting, Vince. He said that contact with the 17 and Timothy Peters, he said, almost made the truck better. It's turning through the center so good, but they are going to do a 4-tire change for the 29. Looking at Timothy Peters in the 17 truck, he said needs more turn through the center and drive off. They're also going to do 4 tires, fuel, and an air pressure adjustment for the 17. Hermie.
Johnny Sauter loves his truck. He asked his crew chief, no changes. I like what you did last time. Leave it alone. So it'll be 4 tires and fuel for the 21. The 88 of Matt Crafton, they're going to go 4 tires and fuel and a wedge adjustment on the 88. He needs to be tighter on the short runs on the restarts.
Great action on pit road. Teams going to work.
Johnny Sauter will win the battle off pit road.
That's a problem.
I think that came from the 98 truck of Grant Enfinger. See there, Grant lost 3 spots. I believe he had an issue with his fueling can.
Hey, Johnny, this is Kevin up in the booth. You're going to have a little bit of traffic that you have to work through this time. How much of an advantage have the new tires been for you on these restarts?
Well, I mean, it's tough to say. You know, the first run was obviously a long run, and you had qualifying laps on those tires. But last adjustment they made on this Allegiant Travel Chevy was really, really good. Not really sure where we stack up with this traffic. Pit road wasn't even open when we drove by it the first time, so I guess a little bit of confusion there. But nonetheless, we're just going to have to drive our tails off here, and you know, hopefully tires are worth it.
All right, man. Congratulations on the stage win, and good luck in the rest of the race.
Thank you. 10-4.
10-4. That's a good feeling getting a stage win, but lining up looks like it's going to be about 13th, Kevin, on this restart. That's going to be a challenge.
It's going to be a big challenge.
Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott recycle to the front. Will set the stage for the finish next. Today's aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear. Superior performing tires to face challenging conditions on the track and on the road. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR.
This is shaping up to be a good one. We talked about strategy from the top, Vince, and we're seeing it play out now. A couple of trucks up front.
The 02 of Austin Hill This is what happened. We showed you just before break that gas can that was laying on the ground with gas coming out of it. That's why.
You can see there's the 98 truck driving off. That's Grant Enfinger. Suspected maybe it came from there, but the 02 drug it out. Solid run going for that team too. They had raced up near the top 10.
So the top 7 trucks have tires that are about 18 laps older than the rest, coming from deeper in the pack. How much of a difference do you see that making?
Well, those guys in the pack are going to have to use those tires up too. So by the time they get up front, it'll be interesting to see who still has the best tires.
What about some of those names up in the top 10? Joe Nemechek's fought his way up there. Austin Cindric, Kyle Donahue, Noah Gregson's rebounded to an 8th place spot.
The final stage underway at Martinsville. Christopher Bell to the point.
Brett Moffitt hung tough on the bottom, but it looks like Ty Dillon's going to try to look inside of him.
Chase Elliott in the 23, Brett Moffitt in the white 7 truck. Ty Dillon just behind Moffitt.
Oh, 3 wide down the front. That rarely works out well when they get to the turn. And it didn't again for Kyle Donahue in that 63 Mittler Brothers truck.
And you see Johnny Sauter right in the middle of all this, and I feel like he's got the best truck, but he's going to have to navigate all this traffic and figure out some way to get back towards the front.
This is when patience might be key. He knows he has a better truck than the guys he's around, but he can't push too hard. He doesn't want to bend up the front end of it.
John Hunter Nemechek in that 8 truck, we saw him off track for 23 laps, so he's well off the pace.
That's a good view of Johnny Sauter being patient. You saw the trucks ahead of him get together. Wisely stepped off the gas and avoided contact.
And it's just, sorry Vince, it's just time to go here. Everybody knows this is the final stage. We're under 100 laps to go, and every lap that ticks away, everybody gets a little more aggressive. It gets harder and harder to pass.
On board with Chase Briscoe. He's back in the 20th spot. That's Kaz Gralla just ahead of him. Grant Enfinger going around the outside.
Gralla trying to make his way through the field, and Enfinger had those problems on pit road.
Well, these are the drivers that have the freshest tires back in this group, but it's so hard to get through all that traffic to make up ground on those that have 18-lap older tires at the front.
Yeah, Ben Rhodes is really holding up. The 27's slipping back, Caitlin.
Yeah, he is, Michael. Well, he's been having some brake issues. He told his team, my pedal goes all the way to the floor. It is too soft. And his crew chief, Eddie Tricona, said, you boiled the brake fluid, so it's going to be spongy the rest of the race. Now, they did it twice under that caution. The first time was to drill some holes into the grill to try and stop it overheating. The second time was for 4 tires. But, Kevin, how disconcerting is that for a driver knowing you have brake issues at a place like Martinsville?
There's nothing worse at Martinsville than having brake issues. And a lot of times what happens as you get into these situations where you practice on Friday and you have short practices, they wind up taping the grill up too much, and then the driver uses more brake in the race, and the next thing you know, the fluid's boiled, and that pretty much ends your day of being competitive, and you're just trying to survive with as little brake as possible.
What about this great battle side by side? A couple of our youngsters racing hard here. Kaz Gralla down on the bottom, winner at Daytona, one of our biggest tracks. Now we're trying to get it done here on the smallest.
And they're digging for 19th. This is not the lead. This is 19th. Good battles all over the track. That is the lead. Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott. Hermie.
Well, Vince, Chase Elliott putting a lot of heat right now on Christopher Bell. They had the track position, and they pulled away a little bit from the 3rd, 4th, and 5th place trucks. But prior to the green flag coming back out, Chase Elliott was really unsure as to whether or not he had enough truck and enough tire to get it done. Caution, Vince.
Well, we saw Briscoe and Gralla, and we just talked about the fact they were battling for that 19th spot, and eventually Briscoe came up on the short end of it.
Yeah, they were trying to work their way around the 63 truck of Kyle Donahue. Briscoe went to the high side, and Kaz decided to go to the bottom, just clips the 63, and it turns them in to Briscoe, and around goes the 29.
Getting late at Martinsville. Bell continues to lead. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series racing on Fox is sponsored by Camping World, your one-stop shop for all your RV and camping needs. Visit a Camping World Supercenter today. 23 laps into the final stage on a beautiful Saturday afternoon at Martinsville, Virginia, under caution because of a spin from the 29 of Chase Briscoe. Let's get a better look at the action on track with the Liberty Mutual spotter coverage.
Perfect. Inside by himself. Just 63. Inside, 2 inside. Give him room. 2 inside. And keep coming high. Keep coming. Keep coming. Hold the brake. Hold the brake. We will get to 33. All right. Get swung around quick here. Get swung around quick.
Message being delivered that the spotter didn't think very kindly of Kaz Grala's move in a 33 truck.
Well, and really that was the 63 trying to give the 29 room and not really knowing how much room that he needed to give the 33. He was stuck between a rock and a hard spot there, and I don't know that that was the 33's fault or the 63's fault. That just happens at Martinsville, Mike.
Yeah, that's just classic Martinsville, but Kaz dove into a hole that had very little a lot of outcome for him. You know, he was in a bind, but he made contact with the 63, who's racing on the lead lap, by the way, and it took Briscoe around. Spotter's not too happy. He'll have that here at Martinsville.
Getting ready for the restart. Pace vehicle is off. That's the 4 of Christopher Bell, the leader, with Chase Elliott on the outside. Brett Moffitt and Ty Dillon right behind them in row 2. The green is out. Racing again at Martinsville. 85 to go. Bell gets the better of the restart, but Elliott quickly to his bumper, and here's Moffitt and the 99 of Ty Dillon.
Oh, and what a strong move by Gregson off turn 4. He was able to put Ty Dillon behind him off 4. Can he complete the pass here?
Nice job by Noah Gregson today. After, remember, he had a spin earlier today, had to go to the back, and he has taken care of his business and taken care of his Tundra, taking it back to the front.
Tell you, I'm impressed, Kevin, with the way they're able to really run high off turns 2 and 4 and get momentum down the back straightaway, making those passes work on the outside.
Yeah, and you almost see our leader, Christopher Bell, he almost chooses to run the middle lane and straddle those the black seat or the black rubber marks through the corner in 3 and 4 and gets a pretty good drive up off the corner.
How about this gaggle? That's from 12th to about 20th or so. Crafton in that bright yellow truck is in 12th, and everybody chasing him 3 wide coming through the corner.
Well, this can't end well, huh? See Grant Enfinger, trouble on pit road. He's in a, yeah, they're.
Haley sliding sideways, gathers it up somehow. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side of the screen, the battle for the lead, and Chase Elliott was right there at the bumper of Christopher Bell, but couldn't get by him. You feel like Elliott's got the better truck than Bell, or is it just he can get there but he can't get by him?
Well, I like the fact that Elliott's truck seems to stay lower than Bell's, but Bell is obviously the leader and has the preferred line.
And look at that. There's a tire rub on Matt Crafton's truck. You can see as he dives in the corner, loads up that left front. Got a rub there. We saw the same thing on Briscoe's truck earlier, and the Goodyear tire was tougher than the metal. That tells you something about the tires these guys are racing on.
Back to the front with Bell trying to protect that lead. Chase Elliott led the first 75 today. Then Johnny Sauter took over at the front. Was out front for 61 laps. There's Sauter in the blue and white 21.
Sauter's cutting his way through the field. That puts him up to the 7th spot. He's got those fresher tires, so needs to try to take care of them, though, right, Kevin?
Well, he definitely has to try to take care of it, but I think this high lane might get Christopher Bell in trouble before the day is all said and done, because I believe that Chase Elliott can roll the center on the bottom better, and it just leaves that bumper wide open. The higher you go up the racetrack for the guy behind you to get a better angle on that bumper and get you a little more sideways than he could square.
You still have better tires than all these guys. I mean, those dudes ran that whole last stint on what they have now.
Or just, you know, the last 40 laps are all going to be under caution, so you're going to have to get them all in the next 50 or you won't. I mean, you just never get there.
The 51 of Harrison Burton is around, and the caution is out.
Johnny Sauter predicting that the last 30 or 40 laps would be all under caution. Let's start at 76 to go and see if we have a few as well. You can see Burton was in a battle there with Kaz Gralla, a couple other trucks, and around he went.
That was a chain of events when you see this video.
Burton
it might have taken
14th at the time.
Might have taken a whole lap to develop, Kevin. All right, is that the beginning of it? Kaz Gralla 3 wide again on the bottom. Lights that. They make contact off turn 2. Gralla goes to block the bottom.
Oh, so Austin Hill got in there. Gralla tried to save it, and he got into the 51 of Burton in the process.
Look at that 52 of.
They're going to be bottom of 3. Bottom of 3. Bottom of 3. Quarter bumper. He's loose. Outside. Keep coming. Spin in the bottom.
How about this view from the 29 of Chase Briscoe?
Keep coming there. Everything's good. Keep rolling here. All right. In the middle. Come high. Outside. Come on low. Clear. Outside. Clear all around.
That Liberty Mutual spotter is really becoming my friend. You get up there and tell the guy to make that move and then see Chase Briscoe jump on the gas and get through there. That was impressive.
Here's the radio of Kaz Gralla.
Took me about 2/3 of the way down the straightaway, and I couldn't get off.
You'll have that.
I'm learning that truckers don't lift much. When they're in there, you better respect the fact that they're in there because they are not letting off.
And I love these guys.
Oh, it's fun to watch.
Watching these kids learn their craft and do it at a place like Martinsville in front of Kevin Harvick, guys that have won here before in the Cup Series. That's just a great way to learn and impress people. But I'm telling you who isn't impressed by Kaz Gralla, and that's Chase Briscoe. And guess who's going to line up right behind Kaz on the restart?
Batman.
He is. His spotter said we will get the 33.
I was going to say, we know his spotter's definitely mad at him for sure. We don't know about Chase, but his spotter is for sure.
Well, it's been an eventful day for the rookie Chase Briscoe in this 29 truck for Brad Keselowski. He got into Chase Elliott there and then ends up with some contact with the 18 of Gregson and the 17 of Timothy Peters, and Briscoe banged bumpers and fenders, and eventually Briscoe ends up going around.
You know, this is typical Martinsville. We've talked a whole lot about Christopher Bell and his strategy and Chase Elliott and what he's done. We haven't said a lot about Brett Moffitt running in 3rd. And look at Joe Nemechek, 53-year-old Joe Nemechek. He's up in the 6th position. I talked to him down in the pits this morning. He's like, this truck won't turn. It couldn't turn at Charlotte. It needs a 1.5 mile track to turn on. He said, we went to work on this truck, leaned on our son, John Hunter, what his truck was doing. And he said, I hope we got it better. Well, in this case, hope was a good strategy because they have gotten it better, and he's running in the 6th spot.
Well, I think that's the key word is strategy. I think experience and strategy have definitely helped Joe get himself positioned towards the front. And the truck right behind him, Johnny Sauter, starting on the inside, I think he'll be able to make up some ground right here. And he's creeping himself closer towards the front, Mike.
That's exactly right. And you got to think about Sauter. Look at that truck. He got put back in the glob. He's been able to keep his nose clean, the fenders clean. He knew he needed to take care of those tires in order to get to the front and have something to race them at the end, and he's done just that.
See the track here, the points earned today led by Johnny Sauter.
It's also got that all-important playoff point today. That's something that's big for Sauter. These guys are using the stage racing to try to figure out, A, how to win a stage, get a playoff point, and B, how to use strategy around these stages to get to victory lane at the end of the day.
The 88 is in. Hermie?
A lot of damage to the left front, especially Matt relayed to the crew chief, Junior Joyner. The more I turn the wheel, the more the left front fender gets on the tire. They did not think that left front tire would make it. They do have 1 set of stickers left in the pit, so they're going to come. You can see them working on that left front fender, 4 tires and a little bit of fuel. Matt's got a pretty good truck, but he cannot get track position as of right now to show it, but that is his last set of stickers.
So Matt Crafton pits from 12th to get those adjustments, and here's where that damage came from. You see Crafton in that bright yellow truck up ahead on the right.
Wow, man, Timothy Peters just couldn't get his truck to turn up off and needed Matt Crafton to bank off of.
And in these trucks sometimes here, the front end will just take off. Like it gets I hate to even say this word, it gets an arrow push as you take up off the corner, and you almost can't even stop it. You think it's going to catch, you think it's going to catch, and in that case, it didn't catch.
There's Junior Joyner studying those tires there. Caitlin, what are they saying in the 99 pit? Solid run for this team.
It certainly hasn't. It's his first truck race since Bristol 2015, and I was talking with his crew chief Shane Huffman earlier. He said, you know, we're not one of the guys running for the title, so we can afford to run a little bit of a different race, have a little more strategy going into the mix as well. But right now, Ty's saying, I get on the splitter the first couple of laps of the run, but overall pretty happy.
Great to have you with us today here at Martinsville. Reminder to start your race week off every night with opinion and analysis from the experts, the best in NASCAR. Breakdowns, the biggest names, the hottest drivers. NASCAR Race Hub. Weeknights, 6 Eastern on FS1 with our friends Adam Alexander and Shannon Spake.
That's must-watch NASCAR TV right there. You can get the inside scoop, and there's going to be some radio sweethearts that we will review on the Hub this week.
I'm sure there'll be some good ones from Martinsville here. Everybody's mad.
The madder you guys are out there, the more fun we have watching it.
Well, I'm glad we're here for your entertainment.
The restart with Christopher Bell inside and Chase Elliott outside. Back green.
I'll tell you what, Christopher Bell did a great job on that restart. He held him back. He started the pace really slow and was able to get a great jump on Chase Elliott.
He's kept it mixed up all day. He's used that restart zone at the beginning. He's used it at the end. And he's got these guys guessing as they go on every restart.
Noah Gragson in that black truck on the outside of Brett Moffitt. He's made that high side work. We saw it all day long. Watch this run. He gets off turn 2 with the momentum. Bam, he does it.
Impressive run for Noah Gragson. And remember, Gregson's tires 18 laps fresher than the two guys he's chasing, Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott.
And I got to believe Chase Elliott is getting impatient because he knows he has a better truck, and you see him start to give a few little love taps here and there on the back bumper of that 4 of Christopher Bell.
And Gragson closes up the gap immediately. Throw a blanket over the top 3 there with Bell, Chase Elliott, and Noah Gragson.
This has been an impressive run for Gragson. Got spun around, but he's been able to run that truck hard on the outside, harder than the rest. Can that be the key to him getting around our 2 leaders?
First place and third place, both out of the Kyle Busch stable as Johnny Sauter goes around Ty Dillon for 5th. Joe Nemechek.
It's just a matter of time.
As well.
I think Chase Elliott's beginning to feel the pressure from Gragson and knows he's going to have to make a move on our leader. But how aggressive do you get? How much do you push? You know, if you push somebody, they're going to push you back.
Well, they're on opposite agendas. Chase's truck is rolling the center very well, and the 4 of Christopher Bell is in diamond mode. He's trying to get in the corner, up the racetrack, and a good launch off the corner.
Which would you rather have?
I'd rather have Chase Elliott's because he's rolling the center, and he has options as far as brake and throttle. Christopher's stuck in that diamond mode in the center of the corner because his truck's either too tight or too loose, whatever he's fighting, most likely too tight in order to get a launch off the corner.
I'll tell you what I'd rather have, Johnny Sauter's truck. I think Sauter's going to get there. He's just caught Brett Moffitt for the 4th spot. You can see him racing hard off turn 4 here. This truck looks really solid. I think he can win this race.
So you'd like to have the guy running 5th. You'd like to have the guy running 2nd.
You want to take the leader?
I'll take the leader. Yes, please. Thank you.
That's what makes short track racing so much fun. There's so many differing strategies, and the trucks are all handling so much different than each other. It's just fun to guess and try to predict who will be in the best shape come crunch time.
And the longer that it takes Chase Elliott to get around Christopher Bell, the better chance Johnny Sauter has of winning this race, because I believe, like Michael said, I think he has the best truck.
Remember, Sauter, he pitted last on lap 143. Those two guys out front, Bell and Elliott, they pitted on lap 119. Talked about tires not being a huge difference today, but I'd take an extra 24 fresh laps.
Whoa, Johnny saw an opportunity to dive bomb, and he jumped to the inside.
You'll be good there, still outside, nice and smooth.
He's going to make it work. Now the question is, can...
Falling back, still at the wheel, still out there, clear, clear, clear.
Can Ty Dillon take advantage of Sauter opening the door? Moffitt's going to close it. Good job of driving by the 7 truck there, Brett Moffitt.
And Moffitt won last year at Michigan on a part-time ride with that 7. He's doing a good job today.
Earned him more rides this year too, and he's a great young race car driver. Running along in the 5th position here.
And you see Chase Elliott is starting to change up his entry on the corner of turn number 3. He's trying to open that entry way up and get a straighter shot to try to time and get up underneath the 4 truck on the exit of the corner. So he's trying some different things, but now he's got to start watching the mirror because Noah Gragson is right on his bumper.
Kevin, how much does it come into play in your mind as a racer when, say, for instance, you're Chase Elliott, you're not running for the championship. You're a Cup star, you're down here running in the Truck Series, and you've got a guy in the front who is running for the championship. Are you tend to be a little more patient with him because of those circumstances or not?
Well, I think they're on opposite patience levels, but in this particular series, it seems like these guys are all in ultra aggressive mode and wanting to win and to get every position that they can every lap. So I think Chase knows that he probably wants to win a race, and the leader is obviously leading the race in Christopher Bell, and he's in position to win. So I don't know that either one of them is more aggressive than the other, but Chase knows that he's here to win, and he can be really aggressive, and you see him hitting the back bumper doing that.
And let's look at the 18. He is there. He sees what's happening ahead of him. He's going to try to pounce.
Now that Sauter's behind him, if he thinks he's got enough to go, it's now time. It's 50 to go. It's time to win the race. So if Sauter gets there, you're going to have to go.
That's the voice of Noah Gregson's team owner, Kyle Busch.
What about this battle for the lead? 4 of them nose to tail. Gregson is starting to try to block off the 21. What's happening with the 4, Hermie?
That line, you see the 4 of Christopher Bell running on the racetrack, Michael, is by design. Earlier in the race, he figured out taking that higher entry into the corner and kind of rolling the center, putting the left sides more in the groove, enabled him to roll the center better, but more importantly, get that launch off the corner. The problem is, if he makes a mistake already running up the racetrack, could very easily open the door for Chase Elliott if Chase doesn't decide to open the door himself.
And what about strategy behind the wheel, Kevin? Is Johnny Sauter saying, okay, those guys up front are a little bit weak, they're fading, my tires are better, maybe I'll just ride here and see if I can find a way by with 20 to go? Or is Johnny Sauter set on go right now?
Well, I think he has to be set on go, because if this 23 truck gets around the 4 and we don't have any more cautions, I think he's going to have a hard time catching him trying to pass the 4 and the 18. So I think he's got to go.
That 4 driver is doing an amazing job of holding off a faster truck with a more experienced driver behind the wheel. But Christopher Bell's been in some tight races on the dirt. He doesn't care if somebody's beating on his back bumper. That doesn't faze him in a bit. What a great job we're seeing this kid do today.
I think there's going to be a lot of blue paint on the back end of that number 4 at the end of the day today, because Chase Elliott has been wearing that bumper out.
Well, I think as it gets closer to the end, he's going to wear it out more. and I still don't like the fact that Christopher Bell is up the racetrack. That may be making lap time. I would suggest that he move down the racetrack just for the fact that he's opening himself up to get turned sideways.
It's so close between those two. You can see Bell's just barely hanging on. Chase Elliott's just checking him for tough every corner.
And Gregson and Johnny Sauter lurking there in 3rd and 4th, just waiting on the development ahead of them. Hunter Nemechek Joe Nemechek in the 87 and Ross Chastain in the 66, fighting for 7th place.
And look at Ryan Truex. He's going to try to stick it in there and take the spot away from Nemechek. It's a great battle inside the top 10, not only for the lead, but for back in the 7th spot.
Good racing all over this half mile here at Martinsville today.
Looks like Truex is going to get blocked off there by the slow truck of Travis Kvapil. Travis is up in the infield trying to get out of the way of that battle, but that was the break that Nemechek needed.
The 52 of Stuart Friesen is just ahead of this 4 truck of Christopher Bell, so we'll see if that lap traffic ends up playing a role as we start closing that gap between the 2.
And our top 4 trucks have never been closer. Johnny Sauter right on the back of Gregson. You can see Chase Elliott. Of course, he's going to be right on the back of Bell. Hello, Noah. My name's Johnny, and I am now officially here. A bump into the back of that 18 truck. Sauter hasn't roughed anyone up all day long, been very patient. Of course, he's been near the front, but he's miraculously just weaved his way through traffic to find himself in the battle for the lead.
Gregson's got to be saying, what do you want me to do, Johnny? I can't go anywhere. These two guys in front of me.
When you see Johnny's truck, he's able to roll the bottom too. And what happens is, it looks like the 4 and the 18, they have, like I talked earlier, that little bit of diamond. And what happens is the roll through the center ends at the back bumper of the guy in front of you, and you lose that distance back up off the corner, so you really can't gain any time or get by.
I think Johnny Sauter's beginning to run a little bit of a higher entry, probably trying to do what you're suggesting, Kevin. Maybe get a good diamond or an arc through the center of the corner. Watch him. He just hangs out to the side of the 18 truck on entry, and then he's going to duck it right down to that curb on exit. Can't make it work so far.
Well, I think he sees what we're talking about. That roll through the center isn't going to just be able to drive by him. I think he's going to have to do something different in order to drive up off the corner and capitalize on a mistake that the 18 of Noah Gregson makes.
You heard the call from the spotter. 40 laps remaining, and at 21 seconds a lap, it doesn't take long.
Now, how much will these trucks, if we don't get any cautions, the handling on these trucks will change over the next 40 laps. You might have a good short run truck or a truck that's good in the middle stages of your tires, but it might go away at the end. So these guys, you can see Christopher Bell getting a bit of an advantage over Chase Elliott right now. Maybe his truck is really coming in, or Chase's is beginning to fade.
Yeah, we saw Chase's fade a little bit earlier in the first stage of the race when Johnny drove right up to his back bumper. But as this track rubbers up more and more and more, you see Johnny Sauter getting really aggressive here, trying to get underneath the 18.
Yeah, Johnny felt like he was inside of Gregson and left it there. They made contact. Both of them driving sideways off. Turn 4, I think Johnny said, okay, you cut me off. I'm going to have to come through now.
Inside. Let him go here. Let him go here. Save time. That's your door.
That's good advice from the spotter.
Save time. Let him tuck in and follow. He'll go get that 23. We'll follow him up there. Clear racing. All clear.
I love that scanner right there and that spotting. That's telling the young kid, the short track racer from Vegas, Gregson, just take it easy. Follow the more experienced Sauter. And watch, this is the first time Johnny felt like he was there. Look at Noah drive that thing. Johnny as well. Wow.
And that one spot in the big picture for the 18, that one spot's not worth fighting over, is it?
And that is great advice from the spotter. I think telling him to let the fastest truck in the field go at this particular point, knowing that he is going to get more and more aggressive every lap. You don't need to wreck and have trouble 3 races in a row. This is a great day. If they finish 4th right here, this is a 100% win for the 18 truck.
And just think how smart that is of the spotter, because the young kid might have been behind the wheel saying, he's hitting me, I'm going to hit him back. Nothing good could come from that. He gave up that spot, but he's still got a chance to get up there and get a spot from the 23 when the 21 gets there. If Johnny Sauter, if he can run down Chase Elliott, Gregson can come with him.
And you never know what's going to happen. All 3 of these trucks could pile up into each other, and he could drive by and win the race. You never know.
How about the youth of this group? Christopher Bell, the leader, 22 years old. Chase Elliott, 21 years old. Johnny Sauter. Johnny's the grizzled veteran at 38, and of course the defending series champion Noah Gregson, just 18 years old.
Michael, I don't know about you, but I wish they wouldn't show those ages. It makes me feel old. You?
I already feel old.
Okay.
I ran my last race. You still got a bunch in you, though.
Yeah. Well, I think as this track gets blacker and blacker, I think that groove up might get better and better.
Remember these two? They had a little bit of an issue earlier, and we heard the spotter on the 29 say we're going to go get the 33. So the 33 is probably a little bit tentative right now about how he's racing Chase Briscoe. But look at that entry on the corner. I love what Grala's doing, just looking around on the track trying to make a move.
That's for 12th. And as Michael said, they've already had a little bit of history today, and maybe a payback.
The 29 of Chase Briscoe will have a lot to talk about when he goes back in 10 years and talks about his first trip to Martinsville. That's for sure. It's been eventful.
It has that. Been turned sideways, been turned around, been to the back, been in the front. He's seen it from every angle.
A long green flag run here with just under 30 to go. 38 laps of green flag action. Almost a little surprising for this late in the game at Martinsville.
But it feels good, doesn't it? And this is when these drivers are really challenging the brakes. The brake temperatures are going up. The tire pressures are rising, meaning the grip's going away. This is when the drivers have their hands full the most, when it means the most.
And this is, as a driver, this is when you want to push the most. You know, you have the worst feeling brake pedal that you've had all day. The front's not turning and the rear's not grabbing, like Michael was saying. And you know you have to go out and give it a little bit more than you have all day.
I'm just loving the veteran Johnny Sauter. Of course, Chase Elliott running second's got a lot of experience too. Christopher Bell proved to us at the end of 2016 he's going to be a champion in NASCAR one day. But Sauter's just chipping away at him, patiently making his way to the back bumper of Chase Elliott. Nemechek gives up another spot inside the top 10. Give Kraft in the 9th position.
And there's our leader. The 4 is Christopher Bell. Second place, the 23, Chase Elliott, doing double duty with the Cup Series this weekend. Johnny Sauter, defending series champion and a 3-time winner here at Martinsville, running 3rd.
3 wins here is tied for the most at Martinsville for Sauter. How many times have you won here, Kevin?
I was going to say that he's tied with some pretty good guys. But
I was waiting on you to say it.
I just let it go, Mike.
Mike would have never let that go. He'd have been right in on that.
Doesn't matter what Harvick's driven here. He's been fast in it, winning those truck races.
And your temper, you had a meltdown or two here back in what? You want to go through a couple of those, or
let's see? It's like 2001, 2, 3, 4. I've had more than I can probably remember or count.
Kevin's got wins here in the trucks, in the Xfinity, and in the Monster Energy Cup Series.
And a winner up here in the booth too. Well done.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me today. This is always fun to learn about the next generations of our sport. You see. Oh, man.
Oh, Johnny was there. Look at this battle for second as they work through this lap traffic. Christopher Bell to the bottom.
Oh, Haley right down in front of Bell, the leader.
And we remind everybody, those 21 and 23 trucks are on the same team. So to see them hit each other like that is a little bit surprising.
On the same team, and they have one thing in common, winning the race. But they have a different agenda, too. Johnny Sauter is all about winning a championship. So he's going to fight hard. He doesn't care if that's his teammate or not.
The lapped truck of Justin Haley gives some room to Elliott and Sauter as they get by to continue the pursuit of Christopher Bell. There's Sauter in the 21 and Chase Elliott in the 23. They're chasing Christopher Bell. The Camping World 20 to go at Martinsville.
Well, there's one thing about Martinsville and Johnny Sauter, and that is the fact that every time he comes here, he expects to win the race. And I think as he's sitting there, you underneath that helmet, you see a guy that's very determined to get up there and win this race today.
Kyle Donahue running 20th has tried to stay on the lead lap desperately, blocking off the advances of Christopher Bell. Oh, and look, just ahead of him, the 19 of Cindric. They almost make contact, but this is going to block the road for Bell.
Bell giving a bump to Cindric right now. The road is blocked in both lanes for the leader, Christopher Bell.
This is making me nervous. It's not working out too well for Kyle Donahue either.
Donahue gets a little sideways. Can Bell take advantage? Oh, some contact for the leader, Christopher Bell.
Bell has a bumper and he's not afraid to use it. He bounces into Cindric. Cindric's going to try to block him on the bottom side.
Oh, Bell, hard contact.
Inside's covered.
And around goes Cindric.
Fucking yellow.
And the caution is out.
Damn it! Get everything cooled back off here.
I don't know that truck won't be damaged. Kevin, it looked like there was a fender rub on that right side.
Yeah, there was definitely a fender rub. And when you get to the end of these races like that, I know the 19 truck is trying as hard as he can to stay on the lead lap, but man, you hate not seeing the leaders let to battle it out to the end on their own.
You can see Cindric is determined to get the bottom of the racetrack here on entry to turn won, and Bell just didn't feel like he could give it up. Then they got loose on entry, ran into Cindric, and around goes Chase and Johnny Sauter.
Cindric was running 19th. He was the last truck on the lead lap, so he was trying to keep himself, as you guys said, from getting lapped and going a lap down.
Christopher just got in there a little bit hot, considering his angle into the corner. He was low. He got in just a little bit hard. You can see he gets a bit loose.
Stay low, get low, get low, get low, dig, get low, dig, get low. Clear, you're good, dig, calls it out.
Yeah, he definitely got a bad angle into the corner and wound up with a bad angle getting loose.
Oh, it's going to be fun going to the finish. Don't go anywhere. Back at Martinsville for the shootout. When they take the green, there will be 12 laps to go. Chase Elliott and Johnny Sauter, teammates on the front row, and teammates in row 2 with Christopher Bell and Noah Gragson.
Remember the choreographed starts between the teammates earlier? That's all gone out the window. It's all about who can win this race. And Johnny Sauter has got a great run off too, and Chase blocks him.
Wow, Sauter now around the outside. Trying to make that work, and it won't. Can Bell get up underneath Sauter?
Clear low.
What great driving that was by Chase Elliott to block off the advances of Johnny Sauter. Johnny's got to rebound now, regroup, and try to go get him.
And these trucks are so hard to drive on the restarts with the buildup on the tires and the rubber coming up off the racetrack. The trucks are sliding around, slipping, pushing, everything imaginable. It's not good.
This collection with Matt Crafton and Ryan Truex, Regan Smith, that's all back there, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th.
Crafton's going to try to swing to the bottom. Truex is going to give him room. That was a wise decision because I think Matt was committed. Look at this train of trucks.
At this particular point in the race, it's all take. Well, there's not a lot of give. You saw a little give from Truex there, but he knew the guy at the bottom was taking.
Regan Smith got a little sideways in that 92 truck, had a little help.
Bad angle for Grant Enfinger. Can he hold on to it? He does.
Austin Hill in the 0-2, stuffing it inside of Regan Smith and banging fenders. Here comes Chase Briscoe in the 29 on the inside in that Ford.
That was a nice move.
Great racing back in the 8th, 9th, 10th spots. And then some.
Got that right, Vince. I can't keep my eye on all the action that's going on here at Martinsville. One thing that you kind of expected, Kevin, was that once Chase Elliott got the lead, he was going to be able to drive away from him. You could see Chase has opened it up on Johnny Sauter, and it looks like Gragson in the black 18 truck is faster than the 4 of Bell. A little bit of contact between the teammates.
Well, this is going to be the time when Bell struggles the most because we know he wants to run up and you need to run down until that track rubber's up. But Gragson had no problem giving him a couple shots there in the rear bumper.
And look right behind him, Ty Dillon. So if Gragson doesn't go, he knows Ty Dillon's going to pounce on him. Got a bit of a gap back to Moffitt, but Gragson needs to maybe try to roll the center a little bit higher and use that lane to run off with some momentum. Right now, he's just in Bell's tire tracks.
And I wish I could express to the people just how hard these trucks are to drive on used tires at the end of these races like that, because the brakes get hot and it won't stop and it won't turn, and it's like walking on a knife's edge right now.
For sure.
Less than 4 laps to go as you look at Briscoe and the 98 of Grant Enfinger. That's for 12th.
What about Cody Coughlin? We saw him 2 laps down early. He's now racing for a top 10 position against Ryan Truex.
There's the battle for 3rd. Christopher Bell has it. Noah Gragson wants it. They're teammates. Gragson has not hesitated to put the bumper to Bell. At the front, it's Chase Elliott and Johnny Sauter. Remember, Elliott led 109 laps in October, but he finished 2nd to Sauter. Chase said before the race, I just want to finish 1 spot better, and he is working on it. Chase Elliott in the 23 takes the white flag. 1 lap to go at Martinsville.
Look at this battle. I talked about Coughlin. He's got his hands full with Briscoe. That's 11th position they're racing for.
Meanwhile, Elliott through 3 and coming off turn 4. Chase Elliott is going to take home a grandfather clock with a win at Martinsville.
Oh, and Briscoe gets into the 13.
Briscoe and...
Oh, man, nice job. Thank you, Eddie.
Briscoe and Cody Coughlin battling for position, and Coughlin got spun around. But Chase Elliott is going to take the truck to victory lane for GMS.
Ran some really fast laps, Vince, at the end of this race, pulling away from teammate Johnny Sauter and getting the victory.
When you're done your victory deal, they want you to go and stop at turn 3.
The second Truck Series win for Chase Elliott. They'll try to go for the sweep tomorrow in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup race.
He had his hands full getting this win today, that's for sure. Johnny Sauter all over him through the middle stages of the race. And a great battle with Christopher Bell.
Well, I got to believe at the end of the day, it was a lot of fun for Chase Elliott, but these two guys, I'm not sure how they're going to describe it. Fun's probably not going to be in the list of words for the 13 and Cody Coughlin.
That's how you race for, that's how these guys were racing for 11th position, and I think Coughlin wants to go explain to Briscoe he didn't like the fact that he got punted on the last turn. But I'll tell you this, Briscoe just got loose down at the bottom. That doesn't make Coughlin feel any better, but I agree, because that kid did a great job today. Rebounded from 2 laps down and was looking for a career best finish, and instead wound up in 19th.
Donuts galore for Chase Elliott at Martinsville. The grandfather clock has been presented to the winner here at Martinsville since 1964. Chase Elliott is in victory lane to accept his first one. Hermie Sadler is there.
Chase Elliott climbs out in victory lane right here at the start-finish line at Martinsville Speedway. And it's woo! Now that was an awesome short track race. You know, last year you raced your teammate for the grandfather clock, came up in second place. This time you fought him tooth and nail to go to victory lane. Congratulations on a great victory.
Yeah, sorry about getting your face there with Mountain Dew, but no, a lot of fun today. Definitely had some help there with Christopher's misfortune. Man, I was trying all I could to try to get by him. He was doing a really good job of maintaining my bumper and doing a good job of me hitting him, and just really proud of this group. Yeah, it was a hard-fought battle for sure. I appreciate everybody on this GMS racing team, Legion Travel, for letting me drive these couple races this year, and I hope it helps for tomorrow. That's the main thing.
That was one great move that helped go to victory lane. The second move was your block of the crossover on a restart. What were you thinking about then, and what was going through your mind?
Well, it just felt like I had to do something. You know, felt like I got through 1 and 2 okay, then Christopher got me, and then that gave Johnny a big run, and I didn't have much of a choice but to try to block the bottom, I felt like. So to run second here in the fall to Johnny and be able to race him again for the win today was pretty cool. So really proud of this group. I appreciate everything these guys have done to let me drive, and I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes.
That's Chase Elliott. He is the winner at Martinsville.
Job well done, Chase Elliott.
Mike
Beam. A hug from Mike Beam. The GMS team started 1-2 and finished 1-2 today.
That was, Hermie said it perfectly. What a classic short track battle we saw here today. Kevin, the job that that Bell did with Chase Elliott just banging into his back bumper, but then also Chase not overdoing it, just keeping the pressure on the young kid. That was some great racing.
Well, I think when you saw Bell lose the lead, I think he got into a bad situation there where the 19 was trying to stay on the lead lap. He got a bad angle to the corner and wound up just getting loose under braking. It looked like, or when he released the brake and wound up losing the lead. But he did a great job all the way up until that point, and those guys capitalized right off of that mistake.
Caitlin's with the runner-up, Johnny Sauter.
Yeah, another top 5 for him today. Vince, Johnny, how would you characterize your race and also the final restart battling with your teammate there?
The race was good. Proud of everybody at GMS. Our Legion Travel Chevy was really good. You know, they need to figure out when pit road's going to be open, when it's not going to be open. When the leader goes by and it's closed and they open it for the rest of the field, it's pretty crappy. But just proud of everybody. Chase did what he needed to do there, you know, with the block. And when the shoe's on the other foot, I'll do what I need to do.
Thank you, Johnny. He was a stage winner, though, today, guys.
So got that playoff point that will come in handy later in the season for sure for Johnny Sauter.
Johnny Sauter didn't care anything about finishing second, did he? He was all about winning this darn race, and a little bit disappointed in how it went down.
There's Cody Coughlin in the 13. He and the 29 of Chase Briscoe got together late in the race.
Late and often.
Yes.
The last 2 laps they couldn't figure out how to get apart from each other. Great run here by Coughlin on the outside to keep Briscoe from clearing him, and when they get to turn 3, Briscoe goes in and gets loose, and bam.
Caitlin is with Chase Briscoe.
Well, certainly an up and down day for Chase Briscoe. We saw contact on that final lap with Cody Coughlin. What happened from your perspective, Chase?
Yeah, I actually got into a couple people today, and sorry to everybody. Just really having a hard time. I just kept wheel hopping, getting in every time I tried to really drive down into the corner and try to pin them, and just my fault there at the end. But overall, we had a really up and down day, and the Cooper Standard Ford F-150 was really wanting to get the win. Hillman's daughter Miley was having a birthday today. It would have been really cool, but overall, you know, just move on to the next one, and just want to say thoughts and prayers with the Dave Steele family.
Thank you, Chase. They'll move on to Kansas, guys. Thank you.
To be able to step up and say, you know, that one's on me. Making excuses doesn't make people feel much better about what went down. And Chase mature there to say, I had some mistakes and I hate it for the people that were involved.
The other Chase Elliott, putting that winner sticker on the 23 truck for GMS. Here's a look at our unofficial results. Of course, led by Chase Elliott, Christopher Bell, and Matt Crafton, Timothy Peters, Kaz Growler rounding out the top 5.
Ben Rhodes, we saw him all over the place during the course of this race, but was able to rebound, have a solid run up in late in the going.
Grant Enfinger, Regan Smith, Brett Moffitt filling out the top 10. Nice job from Moffitt today.
Let's look at the point standings there. Johnny Sauter leads by 4 points over Christopher Bell, but that win is everything to Bell and to Gralla. That will take them into the playoffs with playoff points. Sauter battling hard to get that win today, but he leads the regular season points. And Rhodes, he survived a really rough day today to wind up still remaining in the top 10 in points.
Caitlin with the KBM guys.
And Noah Gregson had a top 5 performance today. Battling some adversity, how would you summarize this race for you today?
Yeah, we started up in the 9th position and started working my way up through the pack, and then I got dumped by the 29. Fell to the rear, and then my crew chief, Marcus Richmond, he had some really good calls on top of the box today. My switch Toyota Tundra was really, really good. We had fast pit stops, thanks to my pit crew. All my guys worked really hard at Kyle Busch Motorsports, and I'm just so thankful for that. To be coming here to Martinsville, my first time, finished 4th, couldn't be happier.
Nice job. Noah Gregson earns his first top 5 of the year.
Yeah, I thought Gregson did an outstanding job, and certainly early on, they talked about the fact they just wanted to have a full day, go the distance after the first 2 races that they had this season that did not end up working out for them. And Christopher Bell, I'm sure, is going to feel like he had this one, or at least a good opportunity to win it, Caitlin.
Yeah, absolutely. Another top 5, though, for him today. Had some contact there with the 19 Austin Cindric. What happened from your vantage point?
Well, he's going a lap down with 20 laps to go in the race, and I'm leading. But I ran into the back of him in 3 and 4, and he slid all the way up off the race, or off the bottom to the fence off of 4, so I figured I'd be able to show my nose and get underneath him, and then he decided to go down to the bottom with me, and I got trapped there. But my guys gave me a really fast JBL Tundra. Third isn't what we wanted, but overall it was a really good day for us, and it's something for us to build off of when we come back here in the fall.
Thank you. Christopher Bell ends up with the top 5, guys.
What a tough position to find yourself in. Just circumstances. He needed to get to the bottom, got in there plenty hot, and couldn't stay off of the truck that had cut him off.
Well, it was still a good rebound for Noah Gragson. I know Christopher Bell wanted to win, but those are the lessons that you learn year after year. It seems like it teaches you something else.
3 races, 3 different winners. Chase Elliott was the victor today. Join us May 12th as the Camping World Truck Series resumes in Charlotte. For Michael Waltrip, Kevin Harvick, and our entire team, I'm Vince Welch. So long from Martinsville. We thank you for watching NASCAR on Fox.